Friends of the Dey Mansion, interviewing militia people, men and women of the Revolutionary period. How are you there? Give me a formal stand. Is that it? Whoop. There we go. Thank you very much.
Okay, today on Friends of the Word, we're introducing something very revolutionary, very new, and very old. I am at the Dey Mansion here in Wayne, New Jersey, with a gentleman from George Washington's day. This is Robert Shanahan. I don't know what they would have called you in George Washington's day. What do you think they would have called you?
Militiaman.
He's a militiaman. And today we're having a reenactment of some of the activities that would have gone on during the militia period at the Dey Mansion. And Bob's going to talk about the Dey Mansion. Later on, we're going to meet Kelly, and she'll give us a little more history. But you want to figure out why he's dressed this way, and wait till you see the rest, how they're dressed. Bob, what's going on today?
Well, today we're having a Revolutionary War reenactment. It's very low-key. It's not a very big one, but we have some British soldiers here. We have some Continental Army, American units. We have some militiamen. And the backdrop is the Dey Mansion. It's pronounced Dey in English, Die in Dutch. They invited the Dey Mansion people, invited us to come down today for an event to help out their restoration process.
Okay, they're going to a restoration. That's something for us to advertise. They're going to the restoration. What is that all about?
Well, they're always fine-tuning things, but my understanding is they're building a building behind you, and some other buildings here they've done tremendous work on in the past, and it's constantly ongoing as research goes on.
The building we came in that's being constructed looks like the other buildings. The same stone is being used.
Yes. Oh, it's going to be right to the way it should have been, the way it was built back then. Yeah.
Okay, let's go into how did you get involved with this? What is this all about? I mean, your role in a militia.
How I did this, how I became involved in this?
Yeah,
well, I've been. Some people have what I call a history disorder. My father had it. He passed it to me. We love history. Okay, and I've always loved the Revolution and the colonial days. Okay. And it was sometimes, even when I was a little kid, bothering my parents to take me places to see historic sites.
Wow.
I always loved it. And I saw these reenactment units, even before the bicentennial. I'm like, wow, I would love to do that. So when I was in college at William Patterson.
But before that, did you ever get dressed up as a kid and play in your backyard, revolutionary?
No.
Oh, no, you saved it.
No, we did World War II back then. That was,
excuse me.
And
first of all, let me tell you, Bob is the attorney for Friends of the Word, Inc. So he is very significant in bringing you these broadcasts in his background and his legal advice and also other interviews he had on the program about faith. But this is the faith of a militiaman in action. Okay.
Yes. Now, so time went on, and I got more and more involved with. In high school, there was a restoration project in a town nearby, and I got involved in that. And I went to college. I was a history major, of course, and I started talking to one of the professors, Terry Rittmaster, about this guy I keep reading about in Hackensack, militia captain John Outwater. And he's just always in the footnotes, but I'd like to know more about him, and I'd like to start a militia unit. And
even in college, you wanted to start a militia unit?
Oh yeah.
Great.
So I started. He helped me get a grant, and I did a work study with him, and I researched this guy for about a year and wrote a paper. It's on the internet.
And what's it called? I mean, our audience can go to
called Captain John Outwater's Company, Bergen County Militia.
Outwater, Outwater.
Right, just like it sounds. So I got that, and I started the militia in 1979. I was in college.
Wow. And that's where Bob and I met, in college.
Yeah.
And his wife, Mary, also met at that same time.
Right.
Interesting. That's why this is associated with Friends of the Word, because that's our connection.
Yes.
The Word, Jesus.
Absolutely.
Okay, and so from college, you started a militia, and what happened?
Well, more and more people joined. The unit it's been going on. It's still here. Almost 40 years.
I'm interested in something interesting. Your clothing. The people at the college make their own clothes? Did somebody make them for them? You make your own?
You do the research, and you have to understand what role you're playing.
Okay.
Militia were civilians. Okay? The militia laws existed before the revolution. If you were, I think it was between 16 and 56 or so, you had to be in the militia.
Oh, okay.
And you were required to turn out at least twice a year for training.
Like, what do you call Guard, National Guard?
Well, we are the National Guard. Okay, that's what
I guess it is
became
like
at
the
time,
National Guard.
It's the New Jersey militia. Yes, and that's what it was. And you know, you would have to do that. But then the war broke out, and then you had a choice.
You were needed, yeah.
What side are you going to be on?
The Brits or the revolutionaries?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. So let's put this in perspective. now.
Yes.
Let's say it's early 1776.
Okay.
Right? Because we get kind of like my eyes glaze over about the Revolution, George Washington, white horses. No. Let's talk about you're in 1776 right now. Okay.
Good.
You're a farmer. If you can't get your goods to New York or the cities, you starve to death.
Yes.
You die.
Sure.
Right? So here we are. There are a bunch of crazies up in New England who are throwing things in the harbor. The law is shutting them down.
Right,
People going to jail. Now you got a Congress meeting in Philadelphia, and they're ready to sign a Declaration of Independence, which is, you're kidding me, right?
Yeah, wow.
Against the greatest power the world had ever seen
Right.
in the history of the world, against the most powerful Navy, the most powerful trained army in the world, and you got nothing.
And King George.
And King George. And if you get caught, you're going to hang, and your family's going to die. So right now, 1776, the guys are meeting in Philadelphia, arguing about doing a declaration. And off Sandy Hook, warships are building up and parking.
British warships.
British warships, Hessians. In fact, the largest naval armada since the time of the Spanish Armada, and would not be seen again until D-Day in World War II. Ready to land on Staten Island and New Jersey. What side are you going to be on?
Me? Oh, I'm absolutely revolutionary.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Okay.
I know how intimidating it must have been.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get real here.
Was the church involved at all? I mean,
It was
Christians.
very church oriented.
Very church oriented.
I've done a lot of research over the years. It's my opinion. I've seen it, other people with the same opinion, luckily, that when they were yelling liberty, they were meaning religious freedom.
Oh.
We think it's like, I can do what I want to do. No. Well, yeah. It's more like, see, you got to understand the mindset. As one historian says, the past is a foreign country. They do things differently there. You can't use today's values and try to understand the past. You have to see what they were thinking. So right now, you have liberty. They came here, most of the people came here because they were persecuted.
Right.
And they were allowed to do things on their own for 100 years or so. So their main concern was, how do I get to God? And I'm responsible for that. I don't need an official church, national church, the Church of England. I certainly don't need any of that popish stuff, the popish stuff. I don't need any of that. Okay, I know nothing's going to get between me and God.
And while you were talking, I want Jerry just to pan the camera to see militia people going by. And this is what's happening today. It's a reenactment. The people in the 21st century garb are not militia. Obviously, they're audience. Okay, we're coming back. So we're.
In fact, I brought a little something for you.
Good. Okay, this is great.
There was a flag that was commonly flown during the Revolution, and it underscores what I just said.
Excellent.
This came out of New England, and then Washington also used it on some naval ships. Can you see it?
An appeal to heaven. Beautiful, an appeal to heaven.
Now
That's pretty obvious.
this comes out of New England, where the pine tree was a symbol of New England. Okay. An appeal to heaven comes out of some philosophical writings of John Locke. He wrote a treatise on objecting to the kings being appointed by God, the divine right of kings, and he said that the only way when there's a tyrant, a king is a tyrant, and he goes against the people and causes them suffering, they have to make an appeal to heaven. That's where this phrase came out of.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So it was very religious oriented. In fact, when the Quebec Act was passed by Parliament, which recognized the Roman Catholic Church in Quebec right before the war, the shudder of this went right down the 13 colonies, because if they can recognize the Catholic Church there, they can do it here. We want no part of that. We don't want the Church of England. We want our church.
Right.
Enough of this, because we're responsible to ourselves and how we're going to get to heaven, not these other people.
Wow. We're going to pause right there because we have a lot of segments to this day of Dey Mansion activity. And just don't forget where we left off, and you pick up with the next segment. We left off at Staten Island. We'll be back. This is Robert Shanahan with Father Louis Scurti, Friends of the Word. We're here at the Dey Mansion Militia Day. God bless you.